Welcome back, finally, to episode 2 of the Knitting Concierge. If you're a one-time viewer, welcome back. If this is the first time, we only have one more show for you to watch. So get on here and watch this one and catch up with the other one. So let's talk, because we haven't talked for a while, and I've got some things to share with you. Big thing. But first, let's talk about some shenanigans. Yes, the Knitting Concierge has gone back to Pilates. It's true. It's true. I've gone back. And I like it. It's fun. I'm going back. And I'm stretching out. And my knee pain is almost gone now. Only took 10 times of going to Pilates. Yeah. Knitting a lot. Guess what? If you have a podcast, just saying, you're going to knit more. Because what are you going to show if you don't knit? I'm just saying. There you go. So let's get on with it and show you what is complete from the last time we talked. Remember that Forsythian sweater? Yeah, it only had a little bit left to go. It's done! Ah! It's done. It's complete. Oh, and hey, look at this. Look at this. No shadow. How about that? And I borrowed some equipment, and we can hear you back there. Thank you. So we're going to be trying this out for a while. And let's see about that. But first, let's see the Forsythian. You ready? This is made out of Barrett Wool Co. in a kit that I had bought from Barrett Wool Co. in her woolens yarn. It's really light for this big heavy sweater because it's an extra 6 inches longer than the pattern calls for, I think. Because this goes down to 20 inches from the sleeve, under the sleeve down, do you believe, in 19 or 20 inches, yes, because that's how long my waist is. I'm sorry about that, but it's the truth. And I did make it a long sleeve, even though I live in sunny West Palm Beach, Florida. I wanted a sweater that was really warm, and so that I could go to, like, you know, Vermont or Colorado or Wisconsin in January. I'm just saying. I'm prepared. I believe in proper preparation. So here we go. Here is my Forsythian. Yep. I made the size 48 on size 6 needles, I do believe. There you go. I didn't make any real changes to the pattern. I made the ribbing longer, especially here. I made it longer so that I could curl the cuff like that. Yeah, there you go. I can curl the cuff. And so it's longer on my hand as well. So there you go. Here's my Forsythian. It only took me a few months to make. Okay. Like I said, loved every minute of knitting this, though it was a bit tedious on Sleeve Island and Body Island. I'm just going to share that with you. Most of this was knit. The top, the yoke, was knit in like really quick. I really like making color work yokes. I really can pelt them out really quick. But once it split for the sleeves, it became a slog, and I actually put it on hold to make an arboreal for my niece. Hold on and let me share that with you. I have some pictures of the arboreal. I got everything out of my stash for that arboreal. I was like so excited. I used some Morocco vintage in a lovely maroon color. It took 2 or 3 skeins of that, and I used a self-striping sock yarn held double. It was fingering weight sock yarn, held double for the leaf portion of the arboreal, for the yoke portion. And I'm looking it up right now. I have to go through my vacation pictures. And for goodness sakes, oh, there she is. And there she goes. Can you see it? And it turned out so good. So good. I was so pleased with that. She loves it. She had picked out the colors. I gave her several choices for the yoke, and she picked them out. So she said she wanted a red, like a red sweater, and so I got all kinds of red things out, and I was gonna make it. Get this, I was gonna make it out of Brooklyn Tweed Arbor, and then my brain started kicking in and thinking, this is an 11-year-old girl who's going to get stuff on her sweater and needs to have it being thrown in the wash. So I dug a little deeper and found several skeins of this Morocco vintage in that lovely wine color. It turned out so good. And the Crazy Dog yarn, which I used for the yoke for the leaves section, I held it double. And if you look really good at it, you'll see that it sort of stripes in a lovely pattern. Oh, you can see the light on that. It sort of stripes in that lovely pattern on the yoke. I do love Jennifer Steingass's patterns. I really do. As you can see, the Forsythian, I do believe, is a Jennifer Steingass knit love wool. I think that's her. But yes, so that is a finished object. Yes. So I knit 2 sweaters this summer. One a smaller sweater. Yes, I give you that. And one big sweater. And a couple of pairs of socks I whipped out. So let me share. I think I had told you in the first video that I was going to be going down, or I did go down to visit my friend. She's a respiratory therapist in a hospital. So she's been working a lot during COVID. So she had scheduled this vacation time at her vacation house in the Keys. It's just a really nice, quaint Verbo, like a VRBO, Airbnb type of thing, where you can rent the condo. So she, instead of renting it out, took it over for a month, actually 3 weeks, month, 3 weeks, and just had a really lovely time decompressing. And her husband works the weekends at a hospital too. He is a he does like x-rays and stuff. I don't know, what do you call him? He's a tech. He goes and does all of the x-rays and stuff, and MRIs and stuff too, I think. Anyway, he was going to be gone for the weekend of Labor Day, and she asked me if I wanted to come and spend the weekend with her. I was like, sign me up, shenanigans. Yes-sirree, Bob. And so I took socks with me. I took 3 pairs of socks with me. Yes, three pairs of socks. I took more than 3 pairs of socks. Don't get crazy. But I did take more than 3 pairs of socks, because you never know when you're going to need another project. And you never can, figure it out. If you're going to have a lot of time to knit or little time to knit. Anyway, my friend is a big crocheter. So she was crocheting a really cute halter top for her niece, and it was just adorable. And she was making the little granny squares for the waistband type right underneath the boobage for her niece. And so I sat there knitting on my socks. She sat there crocheting. We're talking and drinking wine till all hours. We're having a great time. And I finished a pair of socks. And the socks that I was knitting on came from Knit Spin Farm. And this was from the Little Known Holidays Club. And every month I get a surprise set of self-striping yarn in my mailbox. And this was sport weight Targhee. It's 90% Targhee, 10% nylon. It's sport weight, so it's a little bit thicker than fingering weight. And since that's how my husband likes his socks, is a little bit thicker, because he likes to wear those Thorlos, which are really thick and smushy. So I have them cranked by Cranky Big Bill. That's his handle on Instagram, and happens to be Joanna Springs' husband. And they send them to me in a tube, already knit in the tube. So all I have to do is I have a tube, and I undo the top of the tube, and I knit the ribbing of the sock. And then I came down 4 inches on here and cut in for the heel. I picked up the stitches, following the tutorial from Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears, which that's another great one you should follow. Kay and Dan Jones are just a really lovely couple, and I've been following them, and I'm a Patreon member of them, and have been for years. And they put out some very nice content. So then I cut in for the heel, and I picked up the stitches, cut in for the heel, picked it up, followed Kay Jones's tutorial to the letter. And as you can tell, I knit her umbrella heel. Oops, there you go. Her umbrella heel here, which is a true afterthought heel. And then I made her, I went down and I measured from another pair of his socks how long the socks needed to be. Then I cut those apart and picked up for the toe and knit the umbrella toe. Did a little Kitchener stitch there and he had a pair of socks. So this was National Park Week. The parks on this sock, the stripes are the Indiana Dunes National Park is in the tan. The Badlands is dark brown. The Virgin Islands National Park is the aqua, right here. Right there. The Petrified Forest is the brick. The Shenandoah is the golden yellow. And Crater Lake is the turquoise. And as you can see, I have Shenandoah as the extra mini skein that they send with this. Because when you join the Little Known Holidays Club, you get a choice. You get choices. You can have merino, merino and nylon. You can have BFL and nylon. You can have Targhee and nylon in a sport weight. And you can also get a accompanying mini skein that will match the self-striping sock. And you can also get it cranked by Cranky Big Bill. So there we go. That's that sock. So that's one of the things I finished that weekend. And then I had started this sock. Oh, it was a long time ago. I probably could look it up on my Rabbit, which we should talk about. We should talk about Rabbit. Rabbit is a downloadable app. I think it costs like $5 or something, but after you pay the $5, it doesn't cost you anymore. But it is hooked up directly to Ravelry. So if you have trouble with Ravelry, you might be able to use the mobile app for Rabbit. I don't know what logarithms or whatever is making the problems for some people, but I understand there are some problems for some people. But I use Rabbit a lot. Not only can I buy patterns right off of Rabbit from Ravelry, it keeps my library, it updates my projects, and it's so much easier. I'm not even kidding you. It's so much easier to update your projects from Rabbit rather than Ravelry, because my pictures are all on my phone and the app is on my phone. And so when I import pictures, when I hit the thing to add pictures, all I need to do is go to my pictures, add them, bing, 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 and I put them in reverse order. So the one that I want to be the last picture is there, and I upload, and it goes zoop in a big circle, and pow, it's there. Any kinds of, I can see my messages, I can see I can see my groups, I can see my favorites, I can see, I can link things, like, you know, the hashtags and stuff, the links for knit-alongs and stuff. And I can also see the hot right now. I can do everything I can do on Ravelry so much simpler, and, you know, spend more money on Ravelry. Buying patterns. It's the truth. But this next pair of socks is, I don't know. The last time that I had seen this, it said that it was it called Dark and Stormy, but I don't think so. I think this was truly, I am not for sure. I think this might be a Knit Spin Farm too, but I can't remember. Hello, Joanna. Tell me if this is one of yours from a way back. I can't remember If you're out there and you dyed this yarn, howl. I'm Knitting Concierge on Instagram. But anyway, what happened with this one was that we went on a road trip. I don't remember what we did. I think we went to some springs up in the middle of the state and stuff like that. And it was just like a long weekend or something. And I just grabbed some yarn and started knitting in a tube. I know I knit them for my husband because these are 44 stitches to the side. So 88 stitches total on this one. Because that's how, on fingering weight, that's how I make his socks. Because his socks, his feet are a 13.5 4E. Yeah. 13.5 4E. That is a really wide sock. As you can see, these sock blockers were literally bought for him. And you can see that these socks are so much wider than the sock blockers. I bought these sock blockers. They have a lot of different kinds. This is a dragon on top. And I did exactly the same thing. I started with the cuff and just knit down, knit down, knit down, knit down, knit down. And then I ended up with a cuff. And then I folded it in half and cut it in half and then added a toe and a toe and a heel and a heel and called that a day. And yes, I had to make the toe a little bit longer, as you can see. Notice the toe on this one, his little short toe. And notice the toe on that one. But you can see that they are almost exactly the same size. Yeah. Luckily, I just used some Western Yorkshire spinners. I ordered a while back. They had a great sale. Oh, I'm sure they have sales every so often. But I bought like 12 skeins of yarn from the Wool Barn, maybe it's called Wool Barn in England. And I bought all of the bird one. You know, they have blue tit, they have pheasant, they just have a whole bunch of different bird species there. And I had seen blue tit and I fell in love with it. It's a blue and yellow and maybe a little white in there, and it just knits up. I just can't wait because it's gonna be beautiful. But I bought also coordinating skeins to go with them, and I also bought a few I think holiday skeins because I ended up as you'll see in whip section one of those skeins. So yes, these are now a complete pair of socks. And let me tell you, if you've never knit an afterthought heel, I'm going to tell you to knit the umbrella socks by Kay Jones. I test knit those, and she picked test knitters who had never done something like afterthought heel or top-down socks or toe-up socks or whatever. Anyway, the thing I had not done before was an afterthought heel, and I was literally, I don't want to say the word terrified, but I really was nervous about an afterthought heel, about cutting my yarn, picking up the stitches correctly. And Kay Jones has embedded in that umbrella sock pattern videos to every piece of the sock. So She, how to knit, how to knit a tube, how to pick up the stitches, and she does it so well. She does it so well, and she does it really nice and slowly, so you can see it being done, and she shows you really close up how to pick up the stitches. And it was very, very helpful. And I did have to watch it twice or 3 times, but yeah, she really does a nice job on her tutorial. So Kay Jones on the Bakery Bears podcast, they have a Patreon, and all of her videos and tutorials, I use her tutorials a lot because she is an excellent teacher. She really is an excellent, excellent teacher. And pattern maker. She tells you everything you need to know to get the sock done, or to the pattern for that matter. And then, you know what? I had another pair of socks. I could swear I had another pair of socks. I had another pair of socks. And I think I took them out. I think I took them out because I wore them. They were my owl socks. And if I could find my phone, I could show you my owl socks. This definitely was a Knit Spin Farm. I'm actually trying to use up some Knit Spin Farm. I was not. I had lost my sock knitting mojo. You know what I'm saying? But I kept buying sock yarn. Has that ever happened to you? So I needed to knit up some socks. It's the truth. So I took these socks, ended up becoming my work socks, because I work for East Coast Migrant Head Start, and I ended up finishing these on the, here's my husband's legs wearing the socks. Don't look at my kitchen floor. I know, I need to clean the crap. And here is me wearing my socks. You can see that? Oops, no. Oh, there you go. Wearing my socks. And those socks are the National Owl Week or Day or Month. I think it came out in April or May or somewhere over there. I can't remember. But yeah, as soon as that skein came, I knew that was my skein. I probably have enough to make another pair of socks because I use heels and toes, and I used the gray there for heels, or for the heels and toes. I like a cuff to be the same as the stripy yarn. I like to start the stripes up in the cuff of the sock. So I've been only doing toes and heels in the mini. So I've been doing really good about that. So we're done with that. And so those are my finished objects, I think. And we can move on to new projects. Yes, we can. Because I do have another work project since I had finished this. And this is a Western Yorkshire Spinners in the Hollyberry colorway. Hollyberry. And in the beginning of Head Start, before you open up for my season, because I work with a migrant Head Start, we open up in like October for children. I have a lot of training and meetings in the very beginning. So what happens is I'm on Zoom a lot and, you know, listening to a lot of training. And so I knit while I'm in the training. And I knit this whole sock, I swear to God, so fast. Yeah. I knit this in 2 meetings. And there you go. I start from the cuff and go down. For me, this is a 72 stitch fingering weight yarn, Western Yorkshire Spinners Hollyberry, and I use a heel flap and gusset heel and an umbrella toe. I really like that because my toes are not very angular. They're more rounded. They're more flat at the top. So I like that. And I am a size 9 shoe. So this is my sock. I use a size 0 needle to knit all socks. I like a nice dense sock. And as I'm looking at this, because Western Yorkshire Spinner is a very thin yarn. I would say it's a light fingering weight. So I even probably should go down to maybe a double aught size needle. Oh, yeah. But anyway, I had another meeting today in which this was knit. I am now on the heel portion. It's a square heel on there, and I'm on the second row where you purl across 20, you slip 1, you purl across 23, you purl 2 together, turn it around, slip 1 and knit over 12 SSK, and then go back 12, purl 2 together, etc. But that's where I'm at right at the moment. So I'm on the knit back over on that. So that's my work sock, and I can tell you on Monday it will be done because I have an all-day training. Yes, Rebub. That's what education is all about. But it's Western Yorkshire Spinners, and that's, yeah. So this bag here that it's being housed in is an older fat squirrel bag, and I really love this bag. If you can see it, it's got little woodland animals in it with like little paisley designs for the animals. There's a bear, a squirrel, a little, I don't know if that's a bobwhite, rabbit, hedgehog, raccoon. I think that's all of them. But I love this bag. Her bags, if you go inside, this was one of her rare bags that she actually put a designer fabric inside. Usually they're in, they have muslin on the inside, muslin. And so, yeah, and it holds a pair of socks. It's literally holding 2 skeins of yarn and, you know, scissors and needles and a couple of things down. It's just my work sock, so it's not anything crazy. But it's literally holding 2 skeins of yarn and my socks in this bag, which is a sock bag. She makes great bags. You'll never go wrong with a fat squirrel bag. I can promise you that. So I'll put that all back in here. Oh, that's because I'm on the heel, so I need the red on top. Yeah, and yeah. Then, okay, remember my friend that I told you who is a respiratory therapist? Her name is Cheryl, and she crocheted me some of the cutest items for my school. She made me little finger puppets of green and speckled frogs sitting on a speckled log eating the most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. And then one jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Then there were 4 green speckled frogs. Yum, yum. So she made those for me. I have pictures of them, actually. Ooh, I hope I can find it. It was a while ago. But I had asked her to do it, and she said, sure, I'll do that. And I had promised that I would make her a sweater. Here, and she also made me a very hungry caterpillar puppet. Oh my God, it's so cute. Here you go. It's so adorable. She crocheted that for me. She was working on it another weekend that we were together in Keys, at Key Largo. And she made those for me. And where are the frogs? Here, frogs. They have dangly legs and everything. They're so freaking cute. Oh, shoot. Green and speckled frog sitting on a speckled log. Anyway, so, oh well. So anyway, but she made me little finger puppets for that. And they are being used as we, in the preschool classroom for that purpose. So anyway, I told her that I would knit her a sweater of her choice. And so when we were there that weekend, she chose a sweater. And she chose the Milkweed sweater by Jamie Hoffman, which I told her, I opened up my Rabbit, which was on my phone at the time. Well, that's where it belongs, on my phone. And I said, here, look through all my patterns. Look whatever you want, and I'll knit anything you have. If you don't like anything in there, I said, you can look through Ravelry. And you can look through there. You can look through my favorites. You can look through anything you want to. And she saw this and fell in love. She really did. Her second favorite was the Virgil sweater by Andrea Mowry, I think it is. I think so. Andrea Mowry. But anyway, she loved this sweater, and so did I. I had bought it. I had bought this because I wanted to make this sweater. And so I said, sure, not a problem. A yoked sweater on fingering weight? Sure, not a problem. She might get it by Christmas, but she'll get it. So anyway, and then came the process of finding the right wool. Because she said, I just want it to be soft. So I'm a big fan of MCN. Now, if you don't know what MCN is, the M is for merino, the C is for cashmere, and the N is for nylon. So it's usually an 80-10-10 or a 75-15-10, somewhere in there, combination of merino, cashmere, and nylon. So I came across she wanted it in the cream. So I knew I had some cream in there, but what I came across was really not as soft as I wanted it to be. And I didn't have enough antler from Sun Valley Fibers. I had only one skein of that left because I had used some before. So I came across 2 sets of yarn that I had bought from Dharma Trading to do maybe some, dyeing, because Kay Jones has some dyeing workshops, tutorials as well. And I thought, I might do that. So I had 2 skeins of BFL and 2 skeins of MCN. Because the first thing you need to know about dyeing is that different yarn and its composition. The silk, cashmere, merino, BFL, they all take yarn or dye differently. And nylon takes it differently too. So it depends on your content. So what I had done was I had 2 skeins of the yarn, and that wasn't quite enough for the yardage. So what I did was I went back on Dharma and ordered 2 skeins of undyed yarn in the MCN 4-ply sock. Ladies and gentlemen, I spent $30 plus a few dollars in shipping for 2 skeins of MCN undyed. I think I was being very frugal. Yes, I think so. And then for the contrasting yarn, I chose an old skein out of my stash. So this is really all stash yarn. This was to fill it out. From Skinny Dipping in Cannonball sock. That's for 80/20 merino nylon base. It's 400 yards, 114 gram skein. And it doesn't say what. Oh, it's called Girl on Fire. Can you see that? Girl on Fire. And this is the yarn. It's got blues and purples and rusts and kind of a violet. It's got a lot of colors and it's very autumnal colorway. I think it's going to be gorgeous. I think it's going to add a lot of depth to the milkweed at the top here. The original one was knit with orange, an orange colorway, and she didn't feel that orange would do her a very good look. So I gave her some options in a reddish, more reddish tones, and she picked this one. And I think she picked well, don't you? I really do. It's absolutely gorgeous. And it is so soft. It feels like it could be an MCN too, but it's not. It's just superwash merino and nylon. It smells pretty good too. It smells just a hint of vinegar. Oh, that's my fault. See, I had made some shawls before that had, when I used a dark skein like this next to a cream color, it ran when I washed it. And so what I did was, just to make sure this wouldn't run, I put it into a sink with water and added and looked to see and added some vinegar, a nice blob of vinegar in there, and to just make sure that it wasn't going to bleed when it was finished. So that's what the project I'm working on, the 2 socks. I have some, I think it's Stuck in It Zombies, called needle adjacent projects. I'm going to be knitting a pair of socks for my husband. And once again, because this year I've gotten all mostly targy on my on this, and that's sport weight, and I have them crank them at a 72 stitch on sport weight for my husband, which I found works. So sport weight socks on him are 72 stitches. So this is National Mushroom Month, and as you can see, this is her beautifully self-striping yarn. And these are the 2 minis that I purchased for the heels, or well, it could be heels, toes, and cuffs, but I only need toes and cuffs out of this. So, and I have quite a bit left over from the mini skein, the second mini skein, so that's a good thing. So I have some to knit up, because, you know, he's going to end up using his socks. He wears them all the time. He actually does. And so with every month you get a card. This one says, Mushroom Month. This yarn feels so much like a mushroom-laden forest floor to me. Dark and earthy. Turkey tail is the only fungus in the group that I can regularly identify. I hope it makes your feet feel cozy and ready for fall hikes. And so Joanna has her. Yeah. There she is, and those are all the mushrooms that are in the sock. So those are on the needles soon, and this one is also coming up. I think these might be the next pair of socks after that. This is called Polar Bear Plunge. This was, heck, I don't even know. I think, let's see. I'm going to compare the size. Yep. This is the fingering weight BFL. I might have to re-knit this, because this is on 72 stitch 2, and this would be a sock that I would be able to wear straight off the tube. But with him, I'm going to have to re-knit it like a sock blank for him in the fingering weight. But he really liked this, so I think I probably can get both of us a pair of socks out of these if I use the mini here, and I have other socks, so I can do that. But that's called Polar Bear Plunge, and this was the January, let's see, I think this was probably last December's. Yes, last December, because I changed to, when I went for the new year, to Targhee. So this was probably last December. And it says, on January 1st, people around the cold regions of the world jump into freezing water for a polar bear plunge. Some say it cures hangovers. Some do it to raise money for charity. Some march in a parade before their dip. I hope they all have dry wool socks to put on when they get out of the water. Polar Bear Plunge. And I do know, I have seen this happen. They have it on TV every January 1st after New Year's Eve. So that's there. And this, let's see, I think those are the 2 things I have, or actually 4 things I'm doing. Those are the 2 needle adjacent projects. So that'll be done. And I guess we are to acquisitions. Yes, I have a few acquisitions. Let me just share with you. I am really actually trying to knit from stash. I have an entire room. That was my daughter's room, and it is lined with IKEA squares, cabinets with no doors, just the squares, and those things are full of knitting paraphernalia and yarn, I should say. So I have a lot of yarn. And so I really am truly trying to knit through the yarn. But every once in a while I fall off the horse, and generally it's been with some sock yarn, because Knit Spin Farm put out some really great self-striping that were not in, they were just in her store, in her Knit Spin Farm socks, and not related to the Little Known Holidays Club. And so I got my installment for this last month, and it's called Do Something Nice Day. And this says, this colorway was created to honor the kindness of knitters in the autumn of 2018 in my hometown. Oh, if I could read, it would be helpful. The reading specialist needs to read. Let's start again. This colorway was created to honor the kindness of knitters. In the autumn of 2018, my hometown library experienced a big fire, and knitters all over the world made donations to help. I was one of them, because where would we be without books and without libraries? The colors in the yarn were taken from the Kindness Rock Garden at the library. To pay some of your love forward, I used $1 from each club skein this month to purchase a few books for a middle school library. Now that middle school library, I have donated to too. If you know the Knit Girls, you know that Laura Linneman is a middle school librarian, and she has a list that you can hook up to, I think, off of Knit Girls, that you can go directly to Amazon, and she has curated books that she wants for her library for her children at the school. And so they get sent directly to her. It's so easy. You just go ahead, you pick the books you want to purchase, and you pay on Amazon, and it goes directly to her, and she sends you a very nice thank you. And the kids love, just absolutely love her as a librarian, and I can see why, because she truly, truly she's a librarian soul. So if you do have the opportunity to check out the Knit Girls, I would do that. I follow them along. Of course, it's knit on Targhee. It's on Targhee, but I don't think he's going to get these socks. I think I'm going to end up knitting these socks, knitting it like a sock blanket, and for me on that one. So yes, I went on vacation this summer, and that's where I knit most of this sweater, by the way, the rest of the sweater, because I am a long-waisted girl, and that took all the driving, and we went to Vermont, and we went hiking, and we went into a lot of arboretums, and we did a lot of things. So I didn't have lots and lots of time to knit, but I did have lots of car time to knit sometimes. And I was very happy of it, because one hike put me out of commission for at least a whole day. After that, and I knit a lot that day, 4 or 5 inches that day. But when I came back, I had a few things in my shop, and one of them were an order that I had purchased from Whimsy Stitches. And if you have seen my first video, you know that I'm a big fan of Whimsy Stitches. And I had seen that he had some bee fabric and bee yarn and bee paraphernalia, like you do. And they're really cute. And it's a honeycomb and a bee stitch markers. And I bought this cute little sock bag there, and it's just white on the inside. It's just a sock bag. And with that, then I had talked to him about a bigger one. I wanted one of the sweater size ones, because I had seen some of that, and I'm like, I really would like one of that. in a sweater size. So what I did for him, or I asked him, and I commiserated with him. So this bag, I worked with Rick from Whimsy Stitches, and he put this bag together for me. We talked about the fabric, we talked about what I wanted on the outside, what color the zipper I wanted, etc. And I got one of his bags. It has a pocket on the inside, and I also got a Notions bag that matches this, because I'm a matchy girl. I like to have Notion pouches that match my bags, and I like my bags to be seasonally appropriate. But anyway, my husband is a hobbyist beekeeper, and so when I saw this bee fabric, I jumped on it like crazy. So this was sitting here waiting for me when I got back from my vacation to Vermont, and this was a set also with this yarn here. This is Beehive yarn in his deluxe soft sock. It's 85% extra fine merino and 15% nylon. It is so freaking soft. It is. If I didn't know that this was just extra fine merino, I would think there was cashmere in this. It is so soft. You can see how floppy the yarn is. It is so soft. So I got this set here to go with that, and I'm going to knit my husband a pair of socks in this, in the Beehive Blues. It's lovely. It's blues with a little bit of stripes of blips of yellow and different colors, shades of blue. I really like that. And with every order that you get from him at Whimsy Stitches, you always get a lovely, cute little rainbow stitch marker, which is his calling card. And he also sent me a really nice note in the order. It says, Dawn, thank you for your continued support of my business. It's people like you that give me the joy in creating wonderful things with fabric and dye. Enjoy your new creations, Rick. And, you know, he didn't have to send me a little note, but, oh, that was so nice. And I like supporting people who do good work, and he's one of them. So, oh, I should tell you, I bought these at Dallas Fiberfest, the last one before COVID in 2019. I know, 2019. So anyway, but they're handcrafted by Perfectly Catchy Designs, and they have them in all sizes. And you can get them in different animals on top. Mine has squirrels. Mine has squirrels. They have different kinds of ones. They're wooden. And I really like them, so that you know which one's socks go to which one. These are his because they have dragons on them. Mine have squirrels. Oh! And let me just share this with you. The hottest new item right now is called the Knitting Barber. And this is some kind of a tubing. It's like silicone tubing. It's really abundantly smelly. But I got 3 pieces of tubing, depending on how long you need it to be. And you stick it on your needles, and you can thread it through, and it's like try it on tubing. And it's really easy to use. It worked. It worked really well when I tried it on my sweater here. And so it worked really well, and you get 3 3 lengths of tubing, one 60-inch, one 36-inch, I think, and one smaller, so like for a hat or something, if you need it, or maybe a sleeve even, so that you can do it that way, or maybe even a little kid sweater. I think that's about all I have. I am so excited to be back. I hope that we're going to work this out a little bit more. And I'm so sorry. I have recorded this episode 2 times before. This is the 3rd time and hopefully the charm. So I hope to see you again soon with some more finished objects and further progress on the milkweed. And welcome back, everybody. And I'll see you again real soon at the Knitting Concierge. I suppose I should do the little the spiel where you can subscribe and like down there below on YouTube. And you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. I'm not on I'm not on Twitter or anything yet. Just because I just don't have the time. But I'm on Instagram a lot, almost every day. So follow me there. I'm Knitting Concierge there too. If you have any comments to make this podcast better, put them down below. And see you later. Bye.